Great pleasure. Let me now bring on board Anand Sharma, Minister of Commerce and Industry, who joins us on the show. Mr. Sharma, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Sharma, India's exports have been shrinking steadily and demand in markets like US and Europe are not reviving. So what is the outlook for 2013?
Well, we remain hopeful that there would be recovery in the global trade, which has seen contraction ever since the global economic crisis of 2008-9. The world economy and the trade have yet to recover from the debilitating effects, and the Eurozone crisis and the weak recovery in the US and the fall in demand have directly impacted the trade. But India's share in the global trade, unfortunately, is on a much lower side, because India's economy has been driven by domestic demand and consumption. But at the same time, in recent years, our exports have grown, but so have the imports, which put the trade account under stress, and the deficit has to be managed. And that is primarily because India is a key importer of certain commodities, oil and gas, fertilizers. There has also been a substantial import of precious metals, gold and other mineral reserves. So therefore, what happens in the global market is something beyond India's control, including the prices of oil and gas. The ballooning of the same have further put pressure on our trade account. But overall, when we look at where we were a few years ago, where our exports were 103, somewhere there, $1 billion. Today, last year we crossed 306. But merchandise trade and services put together, India's two-way trade crossed 1 trillion. We hope that we'll be able to rebound and address these challenges.
Sharma, the current account deficit is at an alarmingly high level. Though measures are being taken to control the import part of the problem, what can be done to stimulate exports given demand in a developed world continues to be weak?
We can address our own internal issues, ensure that we remain competitive, our productivity improves, but at the same time, there is nothing which India can do to increase demand in other destinations. Therefore, we have consciously gone in for a policy of diversification of the markets. Our engagement with Asia Pacific region is very robust. So is with Africa and South Americas. In fact, more of our trade is now with Africa, ASEAN plus Japan, South Korea and the Pacific region, and also with Latin America. Though EU and the United States of America remain our major partners, but not the biggest. Even China is a leading partner, but with China we have other issues of trade imbalance, which is very severe.
So, Mr. Sharma, does India need to ease policy condition? Is it willing to do so?
We don't formulate policies based on speculation. You have to create an environment which is reassuring to the investors and welcoming of FDI.
Mr. Sharma, the government has set up a probe into allegations of Walmart's lobbying charges in India. If found guilty, what actions can be taken against the retailer?
I think that question is very difficult to answer. It emanated from what was happening in United States of America. As per their law, lobbying is permissible, and there is a mandatory filing that is required, which Walmart had done. And one of the 80 listed activities, or somewhere around that number, was multi-brand retail in India. So if anybody feels that filing in America could also involve any lobbying in India, whereas the institutions with which they had lobbied is part of their filing document, which is within America. And I don't think that I shall not prejudge issues, but I can say one thing emphatically, that there is no lobbying which has influenced Government of India's mind or policies. Our policy is not a country-specific policy or a company-specific policy.
But are you worried that such delays will dampen foreign investor enthusiasm for other projects in India?
Well, we have taken a decision. We are sensitive to these concerns, and therefore there is a Cabinet Committee on Investments which has been constituted, chaired by the Prime Minister, in which key ministers are members, and for all the major projects, decision will be made by the Cabinet Committee on Investments in a time-bound manner, so that all the approvals and clearances are given.
Right, and how worried are you about the competitive devaluations of currency, especially in Asia?
No, I don't see that we are anywhere near that threat. As far as we are concerned, we don't believe in government taking any decision on the valuation or the devaluation of the currencies. This is taken over by the market, and there has been depreciation when it comes to our currency, and there has also been appreciation in recent weeks.
Mr. Sharma, availability of cheap credit is an issue that haunts India Inc. Given low growth projection, do you think RBI needs to give up on its hawkish stance and cut rates aggressively?
Well, I'll not use the word hawkish. I think they are being cautious. And the fact that we have a central bank which is completely autonomous of the government and they make their own decisions. But recently they have recognized the need for catalyzing investments and cut the interest rate by 25 basic points. We hope that they will continue with this reduction. At the same time, when it comes to availability of credit to the core sectors, that has been ensured, and a large number of sectors which are benefiting from restructuring as well as from interest subvention. The entire SME sector is getting 2% interest subvention. That is also the exporters who are engaged in manufacturing and production, and fairly a substantial part of the engineering sector.
Right. Mr. Sharma, WTO head Pascal Lamy's term is due to expire on August 31st. Which of the candidates does India think would be best or rather useful?
There are many friends and many good candidates. Is the initial soundings. Let's see the first 2 rounds of elimination. The next candidate has to be and must be from the developing countries, and we will be taking a view in consultation with our coalition partners, and I'm sure that will happen at the appropriate time.